All right, welcome back to Nick in China, to a very, very hot and sweaty Nick in China. I'm here in Guizhou Province now, in northern Guizhou, near the city of Zunyi. I'm about 20 kilometers outside of the city, in a place called Hailongtun, Hailong Castle, which is, well, this is part of it just behind me. It's a ruined medieval castle. It's got some quite interesting history, so let's have a look around. So this castle is right up in the hills, right on top of a mountain. Pretty amazing defensive location. And to be honest, I think big stone castles, medieval castles, are not really something, one associates with China. Much more of a European image of a castle in mind. Like obviously where I'm from in the north of England, there's loads of ruined castles, as you can imagine. However, there are some here in China as well. And this is probably one of the best examples. It's actually, along with a couple of other sites, it's actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So this castle is part of what was known as Tusi culture, which is predominantly something here in southwest China. Basically, the south of China was often separate from, imperial China, or certainly in the fringes of it. And it was very lawless, and I think they couldn't really control. It was difficult to control given, the landscape, as you can see. It's really mountainous, forest, hot, humid, loads of rivers. So the local tribes really knew how to handle themselves. As a result, there was often minor rebellions and things here, and often the way to manage this was to grant special privilege to local tribes. And the leader of these tribes was called Tusi. Tusi, yeah, that's right. Same word as toast in Chinese, amazing. So Tusi means it's like a warlord or a chief. And here, that lasted for 29 generations. It was the Yang family. The founder in the 800s in the Tang dynasty being a guy called Yang Duan. And this lasted for, like I said, for 725 years, 29 generations of this family, which obviously went through a number of dynastic changes in China and survived all of them, just maintained its presence here. So what their purpose was, what they had to do, they had to provide tribute to China, and they were kind of expected to defend the southern borders of China, but like I said, they could actually run and govern themselves. So the castle itself was built in the 1200s in the Song dynasty, and it lasted a long time. Basically, its demise, as you can see, it has been ruined, came a few hundred years after that in the 1600s at the hands of the Ming dynasty forces. So the final member of the Yang family to rule here and to rule this Tusi was a guy called Yang Yinglong, and he died in 1600, either died or commit suicide. And basically the imperial Ming forces sent a huge army down here to basically take care of business. They sent estimates put it about 250,000 men, and they defended, the guys here, there was about 15 to 17,000 of them. They defended it for 114 days. But you can see why, because this is the only way actually into the castle itself. Yeah, it doesn't matter how many men you've got if that's your only way up, I suppose. And that was in the year 1600. And after that, it became like an officially kind of Ming dynasty run part of China. This happened quite often in a lot of places, because a lot of these rebel leaders, well, they weren't rebels actually, but these chieftains, maybe in the eyes of the empire, got a bit big for their boots, maybe. So went and take care of them. But either way, it's a very interesting part of Chinese history, and it's something that I didn't know a great deal about. Apparently, in southern China, there were thousands of these kind of things. These small areas ran by a local chief who basically was given a lot of autonomy by by the empire to run and do what they wanted. But if they stepped out of line, I guess they felt the full force. It's an interesting place. I think as a castle ruin, you know, there's not actually a great deal to see. I'm slightly underwhelmed, I'd say. However, I think the history behind it is pretty fascinating, to be honest. But I don't know, maybe it's because I'll be honest. One thing about where I'm from in the UK, northern England, I mean, ruined medieval castles, 10 a penny, you know, they're all over the place. So maybe a big stone castle is, you know, yeah, seen a lot of them. But it's still interesting because it is quite unusual in China, I think, this kind of thing. This is really unusual. Obviously, you can walk out inside the actual whole area of the walls. The walls are largely still here because they're made of stone. But obviously inside it will have all been wooden. That's all long gone. There's a few tiny little remains, like remains of a quarry and a kiln and stuff like that. But basically the Ming forces in 1600 burnt it to the ground. So actually it's mainly just the walls and the gates that you can still see today. You're looking at the location of this place and these walls, which are big and strong, and to be honest, it's right on the top of a mountain. You can understand how these places lasted so long and actually kept their autonomy for so long. Because, wow, I mean, it doesn't matter how big an army you have. What do you do with a place like this? Crazy. It's actually quite fascinating. I think the thing that, although the actual ruins are not that extent, there's not that much to see, the location is just unreal, you know? I mean, look where, I'm going to do a little pan around, show you these mountains. I mean, it's, you know, it's so almost impenetrable. When I was coming on the train from, I took the train from Xi'an to Zunyi. It's endless mountains and rivers, very impenetrable landscape. Anyway, I'm going to head back down to the exit. I have no idea how I'm going to get back, by the way, because there's definitely no taxis there. Apparently the Didi here, like our car sharing app, is very thin on the ground as well. A bus maybe? No idea. So I'll have to find someone to ask. Anyway, let's see if I can get back to the city. Alright guys, I'm down the mountain. There's a load of buses in front of me. I'm hoping one of them will take me back to where I want to go. Yeah, short video that I know, but interesting place. That's me, Nick in China, taking you to the places that no one else can be bothered to go to. Okay, until next time guys, I'll see you later. Take care, bye bye.